I'm going to show you how I turned a simple bedroom in my home into a creative hideaway I love to spend time in. Let's start with this quick win. Run to Walmart and pick up one of these back to school 7-drawer organizers. Now, I'm going to show you how I use this little tool to create so much space and order in my craft room. I'm going to provide you with a link below to pick this up if you want to order it from Walmart. It was in the back to school supply section, and I don't know if they ordinarily carry this in their office supply or if it's just this time of year, but if you want one of these little tools after I've shown you how I'm using it in my organized craft room, you probably should rush to get it. This is a great tool to use to declutter all those tiny items we all have in our home office, craft space, or hobby space. I'm using my favorite printer to make labels for each drawer, so it's going to be really easy to find what's in there, but I don't have that cluttered look of seeing all these teeny tiny things. I featured this item in my live back to school organizing special last week, and one of you said, I think those drawers are probably interchangeable. Well, you were right. So I ended up going back and buying a total of 3 of these organizers and doing those drawers in a way that worked the best for me. Now, I use my craft studio also as my business area and my home office. So mine has to have a lot of those office supplies, maybe that yours wouldn't. But I just think that this little organizing item is a great bang for the buck at under $15 a piece. Today, I'm going to be showing you over 20 ideas you can do in just 10 minutes to get your craft room organized. If you're overwhelmed by all the clutter in your craft space, let's take it in 10-minute segments. These are all organizing ideas that you can accomplish from start to finish in just 10 minutes. Start by creating a craft caddy for your most used and sought after supplies. It's a great time to look for these kinds of items. Walmart has all sorts of ideas of containers at really good prices right now, but you can also try stores like Dollar Tree and Five Below. I'm showing you an example here of how I use my most commonly used office supplies. This caddy was just the right size to hold everything I needed, but you could definitely use it for any kind of hobby like beading, sewing, knitting, crocheting, anything like that. And I'm sure you all have many more ideas. So leave your comments below and tell me how you would use this little caddy. I like to keep my craft and hobby space pretty neutral and visually undistracting with a few pops of color like those neon rubber bands. Welcome to Skip to My Life. I am Shannon and I love to show you how to live an upscale lifestyle on a downsized budget. So here's another great idea that you could definitely accomplish in 10 minutes. It's a perfect time to pick up some brightly colored or patterned notebooks. Now these are a great place to keep your ideas. You can organize them by color if that helps you. You may have an area in your craft or office space that used to function well, but now you would be better off just using that area for the space. That's how it was with this little card. I used to have an office organizing system on here. Now I realize I'd just rather have that blank space. It would make my craft and office space a little bit nicer. So I removed that card. It took me about 10 minutes to organize everything that was on the cart in these little drawers, and now I'm loving having the extra space. Make over your craft or home office space by micro-organizing some drawers. Now this is just a set of plastic drawers that I had, and I took a few minutes to label each drawer. I just printed this paper out. You can label it however you like with your handwriting or with a label maker. But I just took these little drawers and I decided what I wanted in each one, and drawer by drawer, I organized it with bins from Dollar Tree. If you've had fun watching so far today, let me know by giving me a thumbs up like. That lets me know what you want more of, and it also tells YouTube that you want more of this kind of content. But if you've been watching for a while, why don't you try subscribing to my channel, and that way you'll be first in line to get all the new episodes and new ideas. If you're like me, you may just enjoy creating so much that you put off these little tedious tasks until they pile up and it makes your craft or home office environment one that you dread going into. So set that clock for 10 minutes and tackle 1 or 2 of these projects at a time. I am right here with you. You can put me on in the background because I want you to really enjoy spending time in this space. You need to buy that back by getting it organized and getting rid of things you no longer use. I'd love to give you 14 pages of free household labels. If that sounds good to you, click on the link in my description box, and you'll also be signed up for my weekly email newsletter where I give you more organization inspiration and behind the scenes news. None of these 10-minute craft room organization ideas is difficult, but we just need to set that timer and allow the time for us to get them done. Dollar Tree carries these two-pocket, what they call view portfolios. That means that you can put something in the very front, and then you also have two pockets inside. So I'll give you an example of how I use these. So my business is Skip to My Life. That's the name of this channel as well. And so I can open that up and put receipts inside, and I know what is in there by what's on the front. Now you could do this by projects. You could do it with craft instructions. There are so many different ways to use this idea. Every craft and home office space needs more shelving, am I right? So I found these simple and affordable Walmart shelves, and I'll link those below. Literally, these take 10 minutes to put together. They're so simple and so easy. They're not heavy. I ended up stacking them on top of some sturdy wooden bookshelves, and they gave me so much more storage space. This was a small guest bedroom in our house, so I tried to use the most of the vertical space as I possibly could. If your craft room or home office feels like it's just crammed full of supplies, it's time to take a look at what you have in there and really go through that and get rid of anything that no longer works. That might be paints that have dried up. It might be yarn that you haven't used in ages. It might be, for me, pens and markers that no longer work. So get rid of everything that doesn't work and give yourself permission to refresh your supplies. Create a focal point in your craft room or office space with a simple basket of flowers or whatever it is that pleases you. I just love these roses. These are also from Walmart, and I think they look so realistic and fresh. So the basket was something that I thrifted, and as well as the ivy. And this is a great time of year to pick up these kind of deals at thrift stores. Here's a 10-minute craft room or home office space idea that's going to buy back so much time for you. A command center is a great idea no matter what you're using the space for. You can write out your projects on a dry erase board, as well as a calendar space that's going to show you how long you have to get that project done. Okay, this is just for fun. I found this multi-purpose coverall at Dollar Tree last time I was there. So if you've seen these and you have a great way to use them, comment and let me know. You may have seen me use this Dollar Tree 2-pack of mesh laundry bags to use as packing cubes, but you can also use those to corral cords in your office space or craft room. And sometimes you can even disguise those behind or between furniture, like I did with this little project. The netting allows you to poke holes through that bag easily so that you can string the cords exactly how you need them. And when it's time to vacuum or clean up, you don't have to pick up each cord. You can just pick up the whole bag as a unit. I'm so interested in knowing how you all plan to use this information. Do you have a whole craft room? Will you use this in an office? What are you going to do with these ideas? If you're like me and you have way too many supplies in too small a space, here's something you may want to try. Take 10 minutes and a couple of these plastic shoe boxes and force yourself to only put what that shoebox will contain. You may be surprised at how many things you can easily donate or throw out when you have this contained space. If you have a box or container that fits your space perfectly, but it doesn't look so great, you might want to try this idea. Simply cover that box with some white or neutral colored wrapping paper, and you have the ideal container that you love, but it looks a little bit better and fades into your surroundings. Craft and hobby spaces in our homes are great to have, but they can be really challenging to keep organized. For many years, I felt like I really didn't deserve to have a space in my home dedicated to creativity because it wasn't an essential. But I have learned that it's so good for my mental health and it makes me a much happier person. So I've started making this space in my home a real priority, and I hope that you give yourself the permission to do the same. Well, here's a project that's completely unnecessary. It was just a lot of fun for me, so I want to share it with you. I bought two of these little doll chairs at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. I sanded all of that glossy finish off, and then I glued one of the Jenga blocks to the chair. After I was done with that, I spray painted it a base coat, and then I spray painted it gold. Now we have a fun and cute little holder for my phone or phone charger, and I've also used it to hold instructions and other things. Several years ago, my husband and I downsized from a 6-bedroom home to a tiny 3-bedroom rental, and this is the story of how we downsized and organized. Every organizing project has a messy middle, so if you're in the messy middle of organizing your craft, hobby, or home office space, push through that because it is totally going to be worth it. One of the best investments I made was a chair that was comfortable for my back. I'm going to link the one that I love below, but I encourage you to do the same. One item I love stocking up on after the holidays is wrapping paper, and I often use wrapping paper on my solid surface to keep that area clean. When I'm doing projects, when I have glue and all those things, it doesn't get my surface area ruined, and I can change it as often as I like. I also invested in this desk that goes up and down so I can use it to stand as well as sit, and I will also connect that below. Having storage in our craft rooms is really an essential, and I find that it reduces the visual clutter when we have things that are uniform, and I'm going to show you a couple examples of what I mean. I found these 3 stacking baskets at my local thrift store. Now, thrift stores are the perfect place to find these kinds of items, but you just want to make sure you measure everything before you leave home so that when you get it there, you know it's going to fit. I also found this kitschy little treasure box, and I'm going to show you how I use both of those to disguise some of the supplies in my craft room. I love using Rust-Oleum 2X spray paint for these types of projects, and I know a lot of crafters feel the same way. It covers really quickly and completely on the first coat. You can buy less expensive spray paints, but you're going to end up paying more in the end because you'll have to cover with more and more coats. So I spent a few dollars to make that storage area uniform, and I love that simple, clean look. It really does inspire me to spend more time in this room because all those cords are hidden, and I love the shapes of these objects. If you have lots of papers and instructions and things like that in your craft or home office space, consider using binders in that vertical storage to make them all look neat and clean. This is Bella, our long-haired dachshund, and she is my constant companion, especially in this room. So I created a little space for her with all the space I saved by consolidating those things into those binders. There are lots of things we have in these types of spaces that are necessities but may not be the most visually attractive. So one of those for me is Kleenex. I have constant sinus issues, and in every room of our house we have a little box of Kleenex. So why not jazz it up by spray painting that Kleenex box gold? It's so much easier to dust and clean surfaces if you have a tray to corral everything in. That way you don't have to pick everything up by itself. You can just move the whole tray, dust underneath, and move the tray back. One of these examples is this marble tray in the Dollar Tree teacher and office supply section. And they have these really high-end looking tape dispensers as well as the tape refills. So it ends up being a great bargain, but it also looks like you paid a whole lot more. This is number 3 in a series of organization projects for this season, and I hope you all are getting some great inspiration. Let me know what other areas of your house you would like some of these 10-minute projects. And one of you even asked if I could do a 20-minute project video. So comment below and let me know all the things you want me to cover. These are wire baskets from Dollar Tree, and I love having them for sorting projects. So sometimes I'll just stack them empty, and then when I need to sort through receipts or paperwork, they're handy there for me, and they make those kinds of sorting projects so much easier. This 10-minute project is so simple, but it adds so much to my craft space. I went to a specialty plant store and asked them for the perfect plant for this area, and they recommended something that matched the lighting that I get in this room. That plant is thriving, and it also cleans my air. If you loved this video and you got some great ideas, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, I'd love to have you subscribe to our community. And this is part of our organizing series. So if you like this video and you want even more, make sure you watch this one next. And always, my friends, I want you to remember that today is not the end of your story. So do not give up. Keep putting one foot in front of the other.